Good morning. Welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 5th of May. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, we're just about bang on the weekly. If it just switches to a weekly chart. Weekly resistance point now, the 100 MA, the trend line sits across there as well, the resistance line. Of course, we could break through this, but we'll see how we run this morning. But it's certainly a reasonable probability that any rallies, any further good news from France will certainly get this moving. Of course, we've got non-farm payrolls this afternoon, and the markets may just run relatively range bound whilst that until we get that data out. But sometimes we get a decent kicker in the morning. Now we've got a bit of divergence on this hourly chart of the euro, which could suggest it will come back to the 60-21s and maybe even back to that daily pivot. Any rallies, well, as I said, we've got the resistance on the weekly there, the trend line, etc., is sitting there providing resistance. If we can break that level, well, it may give us up for the R1, maybe more. I mean, yesterday we had one hell of a afternoon pop on the news that Macron was well ahead. Now that news is probably well built into the market. Now the market may only move on shocks, although and may sell on the news effectively on Sunday. So we'll have to see what's happening. As you know, if you're trying to trade or considering trades over the weekend, that margin levels will be increased by most brokers. So be prepared for that. Okay, that's the euro dollar, the pound dollar. Let's just come back to the dailies here. It's showing some well. It's been holding on pretty well. Everyone's trying to plug every reason under the sun onto why it's moved up yesterday after being sold off because of the Queen's announcement. I said the Queen's announcement, Prince Philip's retiring effectively. It was put down to say, what a load of nonsense. It's just market movement, and sure enough, it's pushing up at the moment. Looking from this 4 hours, there was a trend line across the top from these prior highs here, which we're now sort of pushing out of, and it could see a bigger kicker. Now, I'm wary in terms of how these markets switch after these Asian session moves and late session moves. So I'm, as I say, would be wary. Decent retracement and continuation would see us, as I say, quite easily running back towards that R1. That's the prior highs from last week are quite some way away. So it gives us some movement at least up to those. Now, any sell-off post 8 o'clock, well, there, as I say, there is an untouched daily pivot back below with a weekly pivot at the lows there. Okay, that's the pound. Dollar yen. Dollar yen, well, yen gained and, well, just chopped around in the end yesterday. Some odd old movement. It's gaining a bit of strength at the moment against the dollar as it's pulling back down towards its daily 8. Weak oil prices may help the yen somewhat. It's a massive importer, so of oil, etc. So that does generally help the figures, cheaper commodity prices. It is heading back down towards that daily 8 at the moment. Let's have a look on the higher time frames here. Lower time frames. 4 hourly has put a lower high in effectively in that pattern. And okay, so it's already hit the daily pivot there, the S1. Interesting to see how it's an ABC move here. It'll be interesting to see how it runs out this morning. If the other markets reverse, this may be a signal that the others may do a little reversal. If you see any rallying here back towards the 60-21, maybe a target. It's my overall view is it's still probably got some upside, but it needed a correction. And but today may not be the day to be buying it, and it'll be obviously very volatile around the non-farm payrolls. Okay, and finally, Canadian dollar continue to shove, push on up. It's funny, we were doing some analysis together in the room, trading room, and had some figures of 142, 138 here is not that far above us now, and that's 61. But if you been watching this regression channel I've had on for some time. I mean, if you start pushing up beyond that, we got 140, and then maybe 142 even is sort of some analysis we did. But we'll see how this runs. But it certainly looks, on the weekly point of view, still looks relatively bullish. Now come back into the dailies, and well, it's as I said yesterday, not really had a retrace for a while, but we'll see how it flows at low price in oil, which can't be attributed to anything specifically, although some would suggest it's a slowdown in China. But we do like to attribute anything that's moving the markets abnormally to something, and it may be that there's lack of total agreement with OPEC, etc. Anyway, for now, 4 hourly is showing us almost shooting star doji, gravestone doji, stroke shooting star. Pivot swing there, bearish pivot swing sort of forming on the hourlies, which, well, may see it coming back towards its daily pivot. It's managed to catch it mostly recently, and it tends to, well, the trouble I've seen with it too often is this continued chop. It looks good for a little while, pulls right away back into range, and it's been doing it probably far too frequently almost. Now, of course, we've seen this weakness on the lower oil prices. Let's just pop that there to show you the oil prices just kicked down quite through the Asian session. Really did kick down. That may be recovered, which would in turn give the CAD a kicker the other way to the downside here, maybe towards that daily pivot. Okay, that's pretty much it from me. Nothing else there. News-wise today, of course, it's all focus on the 1:30 news. We have got the Canadian and US non-farms coming out at the same time, so that will obviously make that pair particularly volatile. But the other pairs will certainly be getting a kicker around 1:30. Thereafter, we've got Yellen speaking at 6:30 this evening, but there's most likely most people will be finished by that time. She's delivering a speech titled 125 Years of Women's Participation in the Economy. So it's unlikely, the type of speech it is, it's unlikely it's going to be affecting the markets too much. That's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.